Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be ranking all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have used so far this year. I have 15 of them, which is quite a lot. I have been doing a lot of projects and including eyeshadows in those. So that's the reason why I have so many. So I saw Alejandra Lizette post a video just a few days ago. She was ranking all of the eyeshadow palettes that she's used so far, and I thought it was a great idea. And so yeah, I just want to give her credit, and I would like to do this as well. Now I do have 5 eyeshadow palettes that I am not including that have either just recently been rolled into projects and I haven't had enough time to really play around with them. So I'm going to rank them in the next time I do this. I figure I should do it every quarter. So, you know, this is the last like 2.5 months, because I'm filming a little bit early, but you know, let's say it's 3 months, and then I will do it again. And then I could do like an end of year ranking like I did this last year. So yeah, I'm just going to sit down, talk about eyeshadow palettes, talk about the ones that I have been enjoying. Now, I haven't ranked them in terms of these are the absolute best quality. I think Alex also did the same thing where she did it really by her feeling of the eyeshadow palette, you know, her enjoyment of it. And I really like that idea, and I'm going to do it that way too, because I definitely have some that are low down that have very good quality, but I just didn't really, it was either the color story I wasn't feeling at the time, or I just didn't find myself reaching for it, or I didn't really enjoy the looks that I created for some reason. So it's definitely color story, and then, you know, quality does come into play a few times, but definitely not for the actual official ranking that I've done. But yeah, this is 15 eyeshadow palettes that I have used. So I will just get started. So I'll start with the Honey. This is number 15. I had this in my color pan, project pan. I actually have a pan in it now, but this one, the reason I'm ranking it at the bottom, not because I don't enjoy it at all, I really do, it's just I don't go for mustardy yellow looks all the time. It's very an acquired taste for me. I know sometimes it looks good with my brown eyes, but sometimes it just, I'm not used to it when I put it on, so I look a little ill if I'm not careful. So yeah, I'm going to rank this at the bottom in terms of all the ones that I have played around with this last year, but definitely not a bad palette at all. Next up, I've got an Essence palette, Out in the Wild. This is actually the only palette, oh no, there's 2 other palettes. So this one and 2 other palettes, they haven't been in projects, but I did use them once or twice throughout the last couple months. But yeah, this is the Out and Wild. This is the green one. I know they have a pink version, but I definitely think the green one looks nicest. And I picked this up sometime last year, and I dipped into this shade quite a bit. Also, my mom dipped into it quite a bit when she came to visit me. She really loves that shade. I'm ranking it lower just simply because it's kind of a, you know, a monochromatic palette, which the Honey is as well, so there's really not too much variety that you can do with it. But in terms of the actual palette itself, I think the quality is pretty nice, and it's my only Essence palette, so I can't really talk about their quality if it's better or worse than anything else that they've done. But I actually think it's okay. Obviously, it's very affordable. So yeah, I'm not going to complain about that one. Number 13 is the Blue Moon from Colourpop. This one, I've always just had a love-hate relationship. I really do like it now. I have grown to enjoy it. I don't have any pans in this one, but I definitely have worked on it a lot more the last couple of months. And yeah, when I want a blue, this is a good blue eyeshadow palette. I also have the Book of Magic, which I really love. I think those blues are just a little bit easier to work with. I do find some of these darker ones still a little bit patchy. This Moonlight shade is definitely my favorite in this palette. Billie Jean's very beautiful, but you know, if you don't want a blue look, then just don't go for this palette. And I'm not always going for blues. So yeah, that one is ranking lower just simply because the quality was like a little iffy for me at first. And also it's just a particular color story that I don't always go to. So number 12 is the Flutterbye from Colourpop. This one I really wanted to love. So this is the second palette that I actually did not have in a project. I actually pulled it in a Shop My Stash before I changed my Shop My Stash to like a Project 10 use goal. So I really have only used this, I think maybe 3 times. So it's probably very unfair of me to be ranking it, but I did use it, what, a month and a half ago, so I do want to talk about it and rank it. I think it's fine. I don't know, I wasn't too keen on these darker looks over here. I definitely think these two shimmers are very, very beautiful. Obviously it has the glitter, but that's fine. I did try the glitter once. If you're not into mauve looks, then this is not a palette for you. I think it is a pretty palette. It's just not one of the ones that I tried it and then I wasn't blown away by it. So that's why I'm ranking it a little bit lower. Next up, I've got my Rose Quartz from Primark. If you're not familiar with my channel, then you wouldn't know the history of this, but I have panned this a little bit and talked about it quite often. And I usually rank it a little bit higher, but I'm getting a little bit bored of it. It's just sort of a neutral palette for me, and yeah, obviously it's Primark, so the quality is definitely not there. If you're talking about quality, this should probably be at the bottom of the list because it's definitely not the same quality as Colourpop. I was going to say Colourpan, but yeah, these are all Colourpop. I think it's even worse. It's worse quality than the Essence one, especially the shimmers, but I can make it work, and usually I really do enjoy using this palette, and for some reason I just have nostalgia with this palette, so I would never really get rid of it. I think I'll just like keep using it as, you know, when I want to use it. It's just one of those palettes that I don't think I will declutter. I think I'll just use till it dies. Okay, I think this is number 10. Yes, this is number 10. So number 10 is the Sweet Talk from Colourpop as well. There's quite a lot of Colourpops, but yeah, I think the rest of them, there are no more Colourpops after this. I will let you know. So this is another one that was not in a project. So I actually pulled this for my last Shop My Stash before I changed it. Sorry, it's very reflective, but yeah, I used this only a few times, just like the Flutterbye. So again, it's a little bit unfair. Obviously, this shade is super beautiful, and I had to go into that quite a bit. But the rest of the shades, I went into the shimmers. I didn't really dip into any of these dark ones, so not a huge amount for me to talk about with this one, but I did enjoy the looks that I created. They were very pleasant. I wasn't blown away by this palette in general, but I really do think this shade, which is the Side to Side, is absolutely stunning. So yeah, definitely a palette that I want to work on more, but I can't rank it any higher. I'm ranking it sort of, you know, in 10th place because I think it doesn't deserve to be lower, but definitely doesn't deserve to be higher. Okay, so this next one really, really upsets me, but I think I have to be just honest with myself, and I'm going to rank the Corda Rosa here. So this is number 9. Now, this is a nice palette. The color story speaks to me. I think it's absolutely stunning, and I was so excited to receive this. But I just don't like every single look I've made. It's like a chore to get it to work, or a chore for it to look nice on my eyes, and I'm not an expert at applying makeup, so I like to just do quick and done looks. Sometimes I try to make it a little bit more interesting, but otherwise, you know, if I can use up to maybe 3 shades and be done, I am so happy. And with this palette, I kind of go wrong. I find some of the mattes a little bit patchy. I don't think the shimmers are super impactful, and I just find the formula stiff. So this one is more about the quality over anything else. If the quality, like if the consistency of the shades were different, if it was like a Natasha Denona like type of style, or even Beauty Bay, if the mattes were all powdery, like I don't know what is wrong with this palette for me not to like it, but I just don't love it, and I really want to love it. But yeah, it's currently in a project, so I'm going to still be working on it, but yeah, I have to rank it at number 9. Okay, the next one is kind of upsetting that I have to rank this higher than the Sigma Corda Rosa, but I'm going to rank my W7 on the Rocks at number 8 because, yeah, the quality is not good, but I actually have enjoyed the looks that I've created. So comparing this one to the Corda Rosa, I work to try and make them look nice on my lids, and yes, they look nice, but I work a little bit less hard to use these shades on my lid, and they look, and I don't know, I just enjoy the look a little bit better. Maybe it's just color story. Maybe I'm just interested in this color story a little bit more at the moment. Hopefully that shifts and I do enjoy the Corda Rosa eventually, because it is a more expensive palette. But yeah, this one, I think it's nice. I don't have the subculture, so I've never been able to try it. But, you know, I really like the color story. The quality is definitely not there. You do have to work a lot on this one, which I really like. This is the champagne. I mean, there's only 2 shimmers, so actually there's 3. This is like a satin, but whatever. This one, you know, these 2 are really the only ones that I dip into to put on my lid, and they're kind of hard to work with. So I can't really rank it any higher, but I have enjoyed using it. Okay, number 6 is the Naughty Nude from Huda Beauty. This one, I wasn't really sure where to put it, but I don't think it's fair to put it any lower because I do think I enjoy this palette a lot more than the Corda Rosa, and it's a lot nicer than this On the Rocks from W7, and so yeah, I need to rank it here. It is really beautiful. It's another one where I have done looks and not been blown away by them, and I'm just waiting for that moment where I am blown away by this palette. But I do think it's a beautiful, beautiful palette, and I need to work on it more. I just feel like I haven't given it enough time for me to fall in love with it. I know that sounds stupid, so that's probably why I'm ranking it so high. My expectations are still high with it, and it hasn't changed that, so I'm still waiting for it to be better. I think that's the thing. But yeah, the looks that I have created, I mean, this is my favorite shade here. The looks that I have created so far are nice. And I just need to work on it a little bit more. I wasn't expecting it to be as deep as it is. I think some shades are a lot deeper than I expected. So again, my expectations were a little bit different to what the palette is, and I just need to like look at it and actually play around with it a little bit more. Oh, that was number 7. This is number 6. Sorry, I can't count. So number 6 is the Cartagena Magica palette from who is this? Nomad Cosmetics, I forgot. And this one I really enjoy. I really enjoy the formula of Nomad. I have 2 palettes from them. This is my favorite out of the 2. I think the shimmers are absolutely stunning. I really love this color story. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more come spring, summertime. It was a weird time for me to roll it in, sort of winter time, but I still enjoyed it. And yeah, I have a pan in one of the shades, and I could definitely probably hit another pan at some point. But yeah, I really, really enjoy it. It's bright, it's summery, it's colorful, and I think the quality is there. I will say the mattes are very, very powdery. So if you're not into that, then you might not like it. But for me, it's really easy to work with because they're so blendable, and you know, I feel like I can't really make a mistake. So for me, I actually quite like it. Okay, number 5 is from Revolution. It is the Chilled palette, which is this green palette with neutrals. I have a few pans in this one. Really, really enjoy this palette. I did use it in my pan nose eyeshadow, so I used like every single shade. I actually worked with the glitters for the first time this year. And yeah, I still really like it. For Revolution palette, I think it's really good. It's the only tin like Revolution palette that I have, and I enjoy it. So I don't really have anything bad to say about it. If you want a good green look with some neutrals, then for me, it works absolutely fine. All right, number 4. I was a little bit surprised that I ranked this so like up there, but I really did enjoy it this year, so I have to give it some credit. But I want to rank my MAC palette, which has only got 6 pans in it, and this is the Star Sighting Compact in Fuchsia. So this was a Christmas edition. I want to say maybe 3 years ago now. It might even be 4 years, but sometime around then. So it's definitely an older palette, but I really enjoy it. I got a pan in it this year, and I think the shimmers are still really nice. It hasn't gone bad. It's just a one and done, palette. I can just whip this out, put this in the crease. This is a really beautiful inner corner. If I want to use the shimmers on top, I can, but otherwise, it's just such an easy palette for me to use. And then I can use these 2 shades to darken up. So yeah, it was such an easy palette for me to use, and I really, really enjoyed it, so I have to rank it up there. Okay, next up is my e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. I just rolled this out of my pan nose eyeshadows, and I have some pans in it now. I had this one, but then I have 3 more pans in it, so super excited. I really like this palette. This is my favorite e.l.f. palette that I have. This is my second of the 18-pan palettes that they have, and the other one is absolutely horrendous, so I don't want to talk about it, but this is really, really nice. I also have one of their quads, but definitely think this is the nicest quality. And I don't know, I just like that it has the colors and it also has the neutrals. I love my neutrals, but if I want to pop a color and I want to be a little bit more interesting, go out the box, then I can with all of these, and I think they all work together and the formula is really good, so had to rank this up there. All right, and then the next one, my most expensive palette, is my Natasha Denona retro palette, which I just got this year, and I have been really enjoying it. It's actually in a project right now, and yeah, I really love it. I'm very fascinated by the formula, like this Vivian shade and this Andy shade. I think those are the cream to powder shades, which I find very interesting. Also Go-Go is like that as well, and Apart. They're sort of crumbly, but in a sort of like a creamy powdery way. It's a very, very strange formula, but I do like it. And I feel like, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but I do think I'm going to hit pan in the Vivian at some point if I keep working on it, because you cannot see. It doesn't look like it right now, but because it's so crumbly, every time I go in there, I kind of lose a little bit of the actual formula. So that's a little bit of an annoying thing, but it's a beautiful color story. Really enjoy it. I know why everyone raves about it. I think it's very like work friendly, everyday friendly, but you can also glam it up. It's what everyone is talking about. It is a very nice, good quality eyeshadow palette. And yeah, I have to give it respect because it's very expensive. But no, I do like it. I have noticed that I haven't been dipping into it as much as other eyeshadow palettes because I know it's still so expensive. And that I need to get out of my head. But because I own it now, so like, what am I going to do about it? I have to use it. But I'm still like, oh my gosh, but it's so expensive. I don't know, I just had that stupid thing in my head. Anyway, so the last eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be ranking, and my number one for the last 2.5 months, is the Yasmin palette from My LA Beauty. I know that this brand has a little bit of controversy and also it is out of business, but I think that this palette is so beautiful. I have enjoyed every single look that I make with this palette. I love that the mattes are so finely milled, and like I have no dents in the matte because they have like hardly any kick up, but they're so pigmented, so I don't even need to use a lot. So I'm never gonna run out of the matte shades, and the matte shades are so beautiful. They blend out really beautiful. So if I have a little bit of the Trunk shade or Red Kite or Bark or even Notion, I really have been enjoying Notion. Yeah, these four definitely are absolutely stunning. I also dip into Nadia quite a lot. These shimmers are absolutely beautiful. And you know, you can do a lot of varieties. You could do a lot of pinks and mauves in this. You can also go green. You could go sort of orange. You could do a lot with this palette. And the more I play with it, the more interesting it looks to me as well. So I thoroughly enjoy this palette, and it's definitely my favorite palette that I have used so far this year. But yeah, I have rolled it out of my projects now, so I'm not going to be using it. So I will probably roll her back in at some point in a few months just because I'll miss it. But yeah, anyway, those are my rankings for all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have used so far this year. So yeah, I've got 5 eyeshadow palettes over here already that I have just rolled into projects and I haven't really spent enough time on them. So I will rank those along with any other new eyeshadow palettes that I start working on in the next couple of months in my next video. But I thought this would be cool. So I'll have like 4 different updates on this, and then I'll have a 5th, you know, end of year ranking of all the eyeshadow palettes again. Because I did it for last year and I think it was fun to do, so I will definitely do that this year as well. So anyway, thank you so much. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you next time. Bye!